I know as a missionary, the power of prayer really works. I mean, as a missionary, most missionaries will pray before they go out every day. I know we did. Right before we left our apartment every day, we'd say a prayer that we'd be able to find people that were ready for the gospel, that we'd be able to help someone in need. And you just kind of let the Spirit guide when it comes to those things. But I remember on one occasion, it was actually with one of our new converts from Nigeria, and he was being exported, but he didn't know when. And the worry was that he was going to be exported before he was allowed to go through the temple. And I remember there was this one critical time when he could have been exported any day. You know, the police could have come to his door and just taken him, and we would have never seen him again. And we were so anxious that he was going to be taken before he was able to go to the temple. And I remember one time he called us from his refugee home, freaking out. He was saying, you know, the police are here, they're going to take me away. I don't know what's going to happen. His name was Akene. And just right there and then, you know, we asked him, we're like, Kenny, have they come to find you yet? Are they going to take you? He's like, no, they haven't taken me yet. They haven't taken me yet. And so me and my companion, we were doing our weekly inventory, and we just got down on our knees right there, and we prayed that the cops would not find him. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's what we felt impressed to pray about. We just felt, you know what, God, I know that the laws of the land are most important, but if you can just give Akene another week so that he can go through the temple, that would be great. And so that's what we prayed for. We prayed that the cops would not find Akene. And prayed for a good 10 minutes straight. I think I was crying. I was so sad that he was by chance going to be exported. Because, you know, it's like with any people that you work with, you get so close to them and you just want to help them achieve everything that they can. And about 10 minutes later, Kenny called us back. And he told us that the cops didn't collect him. They didn't run into him. For some reason or another, they just didn't ask him about his papers. And so, about a week after that, he was able to go through the temple. And that was, I mean, I think all missionaries are experienced like that. It's kind of like the movie The Best 2 Years. I mean, sometimes the weirdest stuff feels like the greatest miracle. And that's something that only a missionary can relate to. You have to experience it to understand it, but it's true that God works in wonders and mysterious ways. You can take that to the bank. Because it's true. He helps you. He always helps you. One time with one of my best companions, we were in the middle of this Dorf. Well, a Dorf is a German word for a village. We're in the middle of this village, and it was just pouring snow. Switzerland, it does snow quite a bit, and it's very typical for 2 more missionaries to be the only people walking out in the street in the middle of winter in a snowstorm. And that was us, man. We were out there tracting, and it was pouring snow like nobody's business. And we just felt completely helpless, you know? We just felt like this is ridiculous. And at that moment, we just kind of smiled, and we went together, and we just said a quick prayer right there in the middle of the street. And we said a prayer that we'd be able to find someone to talk to about the gospel on this cold winter day in the middle of East Switzerland. And right there and then comes this Turkish guy, you know. He just comes up to us and he's like, hey, you guys are missionaries, right? I said, yeah, we're missionaries. Like, do you want to come with me? I'll make you dinner and you can teach my family. We're just like, what? How does that happen? You know, it doesn't happen. And it's stuff like that, you know. It's the miracle of God that you see when you just have a humble prayer in your heart. And it just happens, you know. And I remember with that guy, we did meet with him for, I think, like 7 or 8 times. I thought that he was the most miraculous person that could ever enter into my life. He didn't get baptized. The problem was that he was from Turkey and had a lot of ties to the Muslim culture. And like I said before, a lot of people that know the church is true sometimes don't have the strength or the bravery to take that step. And you need to respect that, but because you never know if they're going to take that step later. But I remember one lesson that we had with him where he was trembling, and it was really hard for us to focus and talk to him because he was trembling. And he went outside and was just trying to get some fresh air. And when he came back to us, he had a straight face, and he just told us, "Elders, you know what? To be honest, I can't do this. But I know what you're saying is true. Because last night, I was sitting at the couch, and my 2-year-old daughter brought the copy of the Book of Mormon that you'd given to me, and brought it to me and said, 'Read this.' And we just were, obviously we were dumbstricken because that was such a cool experience for someone to have. And it's miracles like that, you know, there's some things in the mission field that are just too sacred to even want to try to understand completely. But you just let them nourish the rest of your life, you know? And every missionary will have that. Everyone will have that experience that you can't explain why it happened, but you just allow that to build your testimony and to nourish you for the rest of your life, you know? And so that's what we as missionaries get out of it, you know? You get that subtle building of a testimony that nobody else can take from you. So, it's cool. It's so cool, man.